So this question should be in your pack there. It should be it's a road sign based on arrows. So these usually refer to as chevrons, I think, right? So basically we have a rectangle that we're going to draw first, and then we're using our 45-degree set square, which is this. You can always check your set square against the picture just to see which one are you using. So it's this one that we're using correctly. That's basically it. So we'll start off and we'll draw the rectangle first. It's not overly big, so we should have loads of space. So I'm going to just draw it lightly. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick a spot to start. So I'm going to pick somewhere roughly down below it, up a little bit from the bottom. So there's loads of space here today, and we're going to measure up a distance of 50. Okay, so in hindsight I probably could have used a different measurement and made it an awful lot bigger. But that's what it is. So if you use this set square or this set square, you'll see that you don't have one that's long enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across to, let's see, we'll go across to, I'm just being careful of the measurements that I have here that I don't get mixed up. So I have 25, 25 and 40, which is 90. And then I have 25 and 25 and 40, which is 90 again, which is 180. So maybe, well, that might be a little bit awkward. Maybe I'll just use my long set square. I'll go to 200 and I'll add on 45. Okay, just to get up to 245. So just watch that point that I don't accidentally get confused with it. So there's my main rectangle. So this is a very quick question. So what we're going to do is just basically heavy that in. Okay. Now, we're drawing our 45-degree lines. We should want to know where they want to stop. Okay, so because of that, what I want to do is I want to come down halfway and draw a light line across the middle. So half of 50 is 25. So we'll draw a light line across the middle. And then what we'll do is we'll start to mark out our distances. Now, I would only bother marking them out on the top, and you'll see why in a second. So we'll go 25, and 25 is 50, and 40 is 90. Or you can go move 25 along, and then move 40 along, and then move 25 along, and then move 40, and you should have 25 or thereabouts left at the end. Okay, so I have my series of points at the top. Now the reason I didn't bother measuring them at the bottom is because I'm just going to bring them down and mark them here again. Now as I said, the only thing I need to be careful of is that I don't accidentally use the mark that I used for the setup of the 245 long incorrectly. So this one here I don't want to use. Okay, so I'll just put a light little X there beside it so that I know when I come along to it. Okay, yours should be light. You could use a rubber to roll out, can't roll out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, and just to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to heavy this down to the center line. So if you do it carefully, you can do it all in one go. In fact, if you bring it down the center line, you could actually probably get away without mark on the bottom. You'll see what I mean by that in a second. Okay, so I should be a little bit more careful. I'm going a little bit too far. Don't forget the last point here. So the reason I said you could get away without actually having marked the bottom is that if you bring this back down from the center line, you'll actually see that they line up. Okay, so if I brought it from here down, it also would have given me the same point. Okay, and that's the one I didn't want to use. Just need to be a bit careful there. Okay, and that's the question completed. Okay, so just make sure that they join. And what you can do is do a bit of shading in. Now I don't seem to have a red colour pencil, so I'm just going to use a red marker just for the sake of the demonstration. So I'll take a red marker. You'll take a red colour pencil, and you'll go across the design, carefully shading up to the line, but not going past it. So it's a red and white line. Now this marker is actually quite thick on the side. It's handy for me for shading in some of the main part, but I'll go around to the thinner side to finish it off. Okay. So in my own set, I think of every colour, I don't seem to have a red. So I wouldn't use markers in your case, but it'll just help to stand out my drawing. Okay. So just in case you're wondering why I have these markers, these are called Pro markers, and they're a special marker that we use for sketching. And we may look at how to use them in secondary. A special set, a few of them in school, and they can be used as part of the sketching technique. They're used sort of by people that maybe any that be interested in Marvel comics and stuff like that, that do that type of sketching or that type of drawing, and they would use these for sort of the colouring in of their sketches. So there's a thing called a blender marker where you can blend colours together to really do some interesting effects. But we may look at them next year. But that's just the closest thing I have to hand today. So that's what I would use. Okay, you should have a red set in the set, red colour in the set that you got with your equipment. Okay, so once you've it neatly shaded in, that's it completed, and then we're ready to go on to the next question. Okay.